Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the grand finale of Misfits Mega Summit. Vrooks Ecosystem Foundation, as you are aware, is an innovation think tank building a cohesive ecosystem. We facilitate economic development through innovation and entrepreneurship programs designed to suit the needs of geography and also create a platform for different entities which support entrepreneurs to operate under a single umbrella. Ravi, please go to next slide. I am happy to say this that on 12th November 2020, we had formally completed 2 years of our existence. Vrook's ecosystem was started with the purpose of building an ecosystem for supporting innovators and startups working at grassroots levels. We understood that local problem needs local solutions, especially applicable in Tier 2 and Tier 3 regions, where the opportunities and exposure is quite low as compared to the other region. These regions require a hand-holding and support to vision development within. That's where Brooks ecosystem want to make a difference. We have an internal saying in the team that it's not about having the idea, it's always about making them happen. Now coming to Misfits for what we are here for. We started with this thought right at the peak of pandemic. We came across phenomenal innovators and inventors who were working to ease our journey through pandemics. We wanted to recognize this individual. As a result, we started Misfit. Brooks Ecosystem over the last 3 months have hosted a pitch event series in the South Asia region. The Misfit is focused toward providing a stage to social impact change makers, be it startup, non-profit or innovators. While we say this is a pitch event, it's not just another pitch event. We ensure that there is a community that builds after this exercise. The pitch session took place virtually in 15 locations across the South Asia region, which each location hosting around 10 social entrepreneurs, and from which top two were selected for mega event, which is being showcased even today. We are thankful to all the partners who have opened arms to support the entrepreneur, especially GIZ, who came at the last phase of Misfit. We are powered by Telugu, which is an all-in-one enterprise communication firm, and we are also recognized by Startup India. We are grateful to our amazing global partners who helped us at the global level, supporting with benefits and outreach since the beginning. Gratitude to our regional partners, which was unexpected when we started. We are happy that they helped us to execute the regional event smoothly. Now, coming to the benefits, Telugu provides the credit for their products. Thrifi gives Google Cloud credits, Crowdera, and HubSpot credits. Paytm provides their payment gateway at zero transaction fee. Fundwise, VCAT, SIC, Thinkubate, YM Capital Consult, Estrella Global Ventures provide seed funding opportunity to our misfits. MSG91 provides their credits. AIC Race have provided credits and incubation support. Global Shapers AIC Global Shapers, AIC Banasali, Triple IT Hyderabad, and Udyam Innovation provide mentorship support. Autodesk Fusion 360 provides a yearly license of the product. ID1s provide the B Plan tool to all the participants. Kodo is providing 50% discount on their credit card. Startup Buddy, Startup Grind, Eat Launchpad, World Economic Forum provide premium membership to all our misfits. Home Tree Co-working, CoKarma is providing co-working and virtual space. Technopreneur Surrogate Ventures provide tons of credit to our winners. Lastly, Atharva provides mentorship and training support. We are thankful for the brain behind the finale series to Helm of Fate, Makeshift, and GIZ, instrumental in designing the experience that all of us are going to experience in the next couple of hours. Now I would like to invite Abhijit to do the keynote.
Thank you, Rahul. I would like to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Radha Ma'am. We welcome you, Radha Ma'am. Radha Ma'am currently is the Joint Secretary at the Department of Industrial and Internal Trade, and she's been a guiding light to us since the very beginning. The whole concept and the motivation behind starting the Brooks Ecosystem Foundation came through an interaction that I had with her several years back. And now we are here 2 years later, where we've impacted several entrepreneurs in the journey. And that's exactly what we discussed about when we began this. Radha ma'am, I'd like to invite you to please share your thoughts about entrepreneurship, innovation, and the work that you've been doing in the region.
Good afternoon, everyone. I indeed feel very happy and privileged to be part of this group today. I must share a story about how this all started. 4 years ago, when I was posted as Joint Secretary in the Swachh Bharat mission, I was pleasantly surprised that I was made in charge of more than 400 plus youngsters, all professionals, highly committed, dedicated individuals who are willing to spend a whole 1 year of their life at the grassroots level to transform India in a manner that is transformational for the reason that they were working on very basic issues like sanitation. And that's when I met many of the people who today are part of the Vriksh ecosystem, and Abhijit in particular. And I feel very happy to see youngsters who understand India and who feel for the people who are at the bottommost part, who are extremely underprivileged. They had seen it from close, and therefore their work is very meaningful. And in fact, I'm so happy to see their growth over the last few years. And I was hearing to this conversation how this Vriksh ecosystem has put together this whole program across South Asia, wherein they have met social impact change makers, whether it be startups, non-profits, or innovators, who have built solutions, both technological and non-technological, that can improve the quality of life in their regions. So my compliments to you for putting together such a beautiful and meaningful program. And I believe more than 200 startups have participated. And today will be the selection of the 30 of these who represent regions across South Asia. Indeed, my congratulations to all the entrepreneurs who have participated, and in particularly to the 30 of them who made it to the final event. Ruksh, keep up this good work that you began long time ago when you started your work at the grassroots of India as part of the Swachh Bharat mission. And also, as all of us know, that India's startup ecosystem has grown a lot. And today it's perhaps one of the largest startup ecosystems of the world, with more than 35,000 recognized startups across India, and of which more than 21 are unicorns who have a combined valuation of $100 billion. And in September 2020's data, if you look at startups, the recognized startups are providing employment of more than 4.2 lakh jobs. And just to put it in perspective, in 2016, the actual jobs that accounted for 1.6 lakh jobs were provided. So there's a huge quantum leap in the kind of contribution they're making to the economy. And using the internet, I think they're transforming the world. And not only is it limited to the bigger cities, but the digital torch has touched tier two cities as well. And the data is showing very, very heartening things, that these startups are actually now working both in rural India and tier two and tier three cities. The data is indeed very encouraging. And in spite of the fact that COVID initially was a shock to everyone and even for the startups, but now the data is showing that post lockdown, 75% of the startups are back in the recovery mode and they're doing well. And nearly 30% of them have nimble-footedly moved into newer markets and looked for alternative revenue streams. In fact, many of them has used this as a springboard to look at more innovatively about what new ideas they can bring to the new challenges that the post-COVID world is going to show to all of us. And one of the big things that has happened, which I think is a major factor in the future growth of the all the startups, would be that the Reserve Bank of India has recently made a move to assign priority sector lending status to India's startup sector. And I think there's a huge opportunity that is going to open up for by giving banking credit to startups. And I'm very hopeful that there will be a quantum leap in the way the startups will move into newer areas and sectors with the banking credit opening to them. And as all of us know, that Atmanirbhar Bharat is another opportunity that is opened up. As envisaged, not only are we talking about self-reliant India, but we are also talking about an India which is competitive globally, which also looks at local manufacturing, building local supply chains, and converting local products into global brands. I do believe that the startups have a great space to operate in the Atmanirbhar space that has got created, and especially with the clarion call that has been given of vocal for local by the Honorable Prime Minister, which actually allows the startups to participate in multifold in the new ecosystem that is getting created. So having said this, India is very, very open today for startups to start. And having seen from close, I want to end with a personal example of how I saw that we had done a program called Swachhathon, which actually was a hackathon, which asked all startups in India to look at appropriate solutions for sanitation. As you know that much of India does not have adequate water. So how do we provide sanitation in rural areas? Or the terrain is very, very hilly. In difficult circumstances and terrain, how do they actually provide solutions? We were overwhelmed by the response that we got. We found that thousands of startups had come forward with innovative solutions. So I see a lot of scope, not only for self-help groups, for young entrepreneurs, startups to participate in the issues and challenges that face India. And I'm sure this issue is across South Asia, where the most underprivileged people could be served very well by all the people who are present in this meeting today. Thank you so much for inviting me to this program. I indeed feel privileged and happy to see that a lot of good work is happening in this sector. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was indeed a pleasure to hear your words. I think with the capacity that you have and the kind of influence that you have on young people like us has been very instrumental for us to uh, uh, find that strength in going forward and engaging and creating that impact that's required on ground. Uh, it also has been a very beneficial experience in terms of hearing from you the kind of initiatives that are happening. I have one question, if you like, if the time permits. You've been driving these initiatives uh, through the government, and we see a lot of government initiatives now coming out, especially focusing for startups. What's that one takeaway or a couple of ways that you see that startups like us or social entrepreneurs like us can come forward and engage with government as a partner and not just as a beneficiary to their initiatives?
Absolutely. I think there is lot of space that has got opened up. Just look at COVID. Nobody had looked at things like oximeters, or there is so many new products that are coming up, which India needs startups like you to come and contribute and to make things available for people which they so desperately need. I think health is one sector where government will look towards startups like yours. Just to give you another example, drinking water, there's a huge mission that is happening called Jal Shakti, as all of you know, every household to be given tap water. Perhaps India is looking for how do you look at water, whether it's good or good enough for people to drink. So water testing at home could be another opportunity. So in every single major program that government is driving, which is at rural areas where majority of the population lives, or even in urban areas, you would be able to contribute to innovative technology solutions. And that's where startups are partners to government, and there is a lot of scope in each one. Just to give an example, I was the other day in a meeting where it was being discussed that there's so many things that come to India from other countries which India could easily produce. Calculators, for example, even mosquitoes, that bat which is used, these things come from other countries. How come in India, when there is so much talent and capability, we're not able to do it? So all these areas, if we were to identify jointly, there could be that the startups would have the scope. And I think internet is going to play a huge role in which all of you as startups or youngsters who are generally very, very good at, you could play a big role in this. And I think government has come up with startup awards, is working on the ecosystems, and there's so many major things. I didn't want to give a very long lecture, but I'm sure many of you are aware of it, wherein a lot of support is coming to startups. Perhaps people like Vruksh ecosystem could play a role of telling people what really are the facilities available. And as you rightly said, partnering is a word for it, for all the government programs that are happening. And even in the GEM ecosystem, where a lot of purchases happen from government, startups have a special space, and you should really participate in that.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you very much. I know you have a meeting right after this, so I would not take a lot of time from you. But hearing those words is really inspirational, and I think everyone who's watching us and is on the platform engaging with us will understand that the government is opening its arms and is open to innovations and is open to partner with young people like us out here to engage in making India, like, with the words that have now come up with Atmanirbhar, vocal for local, and the self-reliance that we are moving towards. I think young people like us have a huge role, and entrepreneurs like us have a huge role to play into that. I think it definitely sets a tone for what we are going to do in the next few hours here today. And I thank you for your time and sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much, and my best wishes to the whole team. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So that was Radha Madam for all of us. She's been a huge inspiration. She's been guiding several entrepreneurs out there in terms of reaching out, like actually making the government as a partner more accessible. I'm here to also share a little bit about how the Misfits journey has begun. What's the impact story that we have today to share with you? We started it as a thought on what really makes a misfit. And we were primarily thinking around uh, what could we do to enable or build a stage for entrepreneurs like us out here. And that time I came across this video from Steve Jobs, which was one of the initial advertisements of Apple, which is titled as Misfits or the Crazy Ones. And therein the advert says that the ones who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. And I think that gave us a lot of inspiration to actually host a competition like this across South Asia. And that was the exact moment where we thought, okay, let's name this initiative, let's name this competition as Misfits, because that's what all of us stand here for. I would like to quickly take you through that video, if our team can share that, and then begin on the story that we have that was built around the role. I think the audio is not playing.
You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Thank you. So that was the driving thought for us on why Misfits and why the word really stuck us. And I think a lot of people appreciated the terminology that we used here, that we're not just doing entrepreneurs, but we're just saying Misfits. And I think as entrepreneurs, any which ways we are misfits. But then when we talk about social entrepreneurs specifically, they work where they are valuing impact over everything else. I think that's something that we wanted to showcase, and that's how even the when we designed this logo, it came out exactly with the thought that here's to the misfits, the square pegs in the round holes, and that's where we use these elements together and brought this logo into action, and that's what it says. Moving forward, we started this with a thought in like let's do it in 15 regions in South Asia, and we like a lot of the internal team members were also like, okay, let's probably focus towards India first, and then maybe next year sometime we could do South Asia and go to more countries and things like that. But then I think we were determined internally that yes, this is what we want to do. And I think with the pandemic, we had the privilege that, okay, because travel was no longer an option and everything was happening virtually, we had really that option to bring in people from all over the globe and work with us in this initiative. And some of our panelists that will follow today are leaders in their initiate in their regions, and they are here today. We have amazing entrepreneurs from the entire South Asian region who have come together. We hosted a series of talks, and we got in some amazing folks to lead the regional pitch event that happened. And that regional pitch event then got converted into a much larger initiative. I thank all the speakers, the guests that came in during the session today and in our previous regional events. To share a little bit on the numbers, while we started with 15 regions as a target, but we ended up reaching out to about 20 regions in the entire Southeast Asia. We got in some amazing partnerships with us. Close to 100 partners, more than 90 partners came in and worked with us in making this entire initiative a huge success. Rahul told you about some of the benefits that these partners opened up their arms and shared with us. And a lot of them are still coming and sharing that, okay, hey, Team Misfits, this is what we'd like to offer you. And we'd like to work with these folks. We went around and got in over 200 applications over the past couple of months, from which we selected the top 30 Misfits that we are going to unveil to you today, and that pitched in our finale round over the last week. We hosted an entire virtual event, which was about 1,500 minutes in its entirety. We reached mostly organically over YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so many people came and witnessed the kind of work that we've been doing so far. I think these numbers will still increase in the next few days. Moving forward, I'd like to also share about I'd also like to share about the impact that we'll have post this entire initiative, the next steps that are with us, and thanks to GIZ that has come in. We are hosting a series of workshops. Ravi, could you please change the slide? And we're going to host a series of workshops. We have the impact assessment workshop, which is on how to building your impact strategy. Shiroz has come forward and shared that they'll be doing a leadership workshop for all the women entrepreneurs out here. Through the World Economic Forum, Michelle has offered us to host a workshop around the strategic IQ, which is also being offered as a benefit to our top 30 Misfits here. And through the impact of GIZ, we are creating a booklet and a video showcase that will go around to all their partner network and give visibility to the amazing work that has happened so far. What we're doing here today is setting things in motion. I heard this very wonderful quote by one of our teammates, Anupam, yesterday, that you cannot go through, like, as primarily entrepreneurs or social impact entrepreneurs in general, we always have an impact around people, or even as people. Anything that we do, every action has an impact. Every little act that we have out there, it has a positive or negative impact. But we have that choice to see, is it a positive impact that we create on the society, or is it a negative one? I think that's something that we want to now take forward. So we are trying to bring together stakeholder convergence. We're creating a network of local, national, and global partners, and bring together this entire ecosystem to work in terms of building a community. And this is my call to all of you. Come join us. We'd love to work with you as Vruksh Ecosystem Foundation, where our core job remains to work with entrepreneurs, to work with stakeholders in creating that effective ecosystem. We open everyone with like arms wide open. And here's my call to you. Please come join us. Thank you very much. Anupam, over to you. Yes, Anupam, you're audible.
Yeah, now I'm on. Yes. So, hi, beautiful people. Hope you all are energized for upcoming things. And yes, this is Anupam Pandey, a part of Rooksh Misfits. So, let's get started with the panel discussion with some amazing market leaders. We have Dr. Lalit. He is a social entrepreneur, researcher, and a development practitioner with 30 years of experience in the development sector. He is currently the managing director, CEO of Lanka Social Ventures, where he leads a pioneering incubator and accelerator program for social enterprises in Sri Lanka. Dr. Lalit is a professional entrepreneur and a development practitioner with 30 years of experience in the development sector. He is currently the managing director of Lanka Social Ventures, where he leads a pioneering incubator and accelerator program for social enterprises in Sri Lanka. Hello. Yeah, I just got dropped off.
Yes, Anupam, you're audible.
Okay, yeah. So all right, so I'm beginning it again. So hi there, hope you all are energized for upcoming things. And yes, this is Anupam Pandey, a part of Rooksh Misfits. Let's get started with the panel discussion with some amazing market leaders. We have Dr. Lalit with us. He is a social entrepreneur, researcher, and development practitioner with 30 years of experience in the development sector. He is currently the managing director of Lanka Social Ventures, where he leads a pioneering incubator and accelerator program for social enterprises in Sri Lanka in collaboration with Oxfam. Team Brooks welcomes you, Mr. Lalit, to this mega summit. Our next guest, Miss Reena, she is an experienced entrepreneur, angel investor, venture capitalist, and education leader with more than 20 years of hands-on experience in incubating and funding early stage businesses and scaling up successful startups in Southeast Asia. She is the sole Malaysian representative in WBAF and was voted top 10 most inspiring business women in Singapore by Top 10 Asia, top 10 women venture capitalists in Singapore by Women Founders Network, 8 trailblazers under 40s by the Peak Magazine Singapore, among others. Team Misfits welcome you, Miss Reena. Yeah. So our next guest, Michelle Watt, is the growth strategies lead for the global innovators community of startups at the World Economic Forum based in Geneva, Switzerland. Previously, she worked in the private sector at enterprise, unicorn, and startup companies focused on marketing, growth, and customer retention. In her free time, she enjoys hiking, detective novels, and testing new banana bread recipes. Team Brooks welcomes you, Miss Michelle, to this mega summit.
Thank you.
Yes. Our next guest is Arushi Tangri. She is a lawyer and public policy professional. She recently completed her dual masters from United Nations University, Netherlands, in public and human development. Apart from heading her legal organization, she is handling several projects with international organizations related to policy and international law. At present, she is involved with GIZ India in the MSME, INNO project and SFF project related to COVID-19, which is done in collaboration with the Indian and German government. Team Brooks welcomes you, Ms. Arushi, to this mega summit. We are happy to have you.
Thank you.
Yes. And yes, the moderator for the discussion is none other than Mr. Abhijit, founder and executive director at Vruksh Ecosystem Foundation, with a passion to work on inclusive projects that use technology to improve lives. He formed the Vruksh Ecosystem Foundation, a non-profit focused towards building a culture of innovation, problem solving, and entrepreneurship in undeserved geographies to solve local problems. Would like to hand over the stage to Abhijit. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Anupam. I think that was That was underserved communities. So I thank you for introducing all of us, and I'm glad to host this discussion with such phenomenal people. And thank you very much, all of you, for accepting the invitation to join us today. We started the Misfits finale with a similar panel discussion, which was focused on the state of social entrepreneurship, wherein we discussed about how the entrepreneurship has evolved over the past few years, and especially social impact. Over the last week, then we hosted a series of pitches that with all our top 30 entrepreneurs, and building that up to today is now we talk about how do we take these folks forward, how do we take our social enterprises and take them to accelerate to the next level. And that's where I think all of you who are here who've been contributing to venture building, social impact in your own unique ways. I'd like to know a little bit more about how you've been doing it and how our social entrepreneurs out here can connect with you and get that kind of support in terms of taking it to the next level. To begin with, Lalit, I have the first question for you. You have like a wonderful career that has spanned for almost 2.5 decades now. You worked and studied in one of the top tier universities globally, and now you're back in Sri Lanka building the Lanka Social Ventures. Could you share a little bit more about the kind of work that's happening at your end and the story behind moving back and actually launching something like this?
Yeah, thank you, Abhijit. And let me first congratulate Abhijit and the team, Misfits team, for putting up this fabulous the event and also the panel discussion. I see the face from all around the world, and it's really timely. And also all the best for the panelists as well as the finalists. Yeah, I mean, very briefly, yeah, I had the career, in academia and also as a enterprise development practitioner and policymaker for almost 2.5 decades. What made me to get involved in the social enterprise the space is that maybe goes back to late 1990s, when I started my career in academia, and I got involved in researching social enterprises in UK, and that was the time actually the social enterprise, the space began to emerge in the UK after 1997. So then got involved in various work, and then I got an invitation from Oxfam GB to conduct a research in Sri Lanka with another Singapore-based research company to find out, the social enterprise sector in Sri Lanka, and what can the international community do to help the social enterprise community. So that's how all began. That began in 2014, and we completed the research and then presented to Oxfam GB. And then they decided that yes, based on our recommendations, to fund a social enterprise incubator. And then I got involved with the team, and we developed the design and also the organizational structure. Then I thought that my job is finished, but what happened was then Oxfam GB invited me to lead the incubator, and then I took time off from my academic life, and then decided to lead the incubator, Lanka Social Ventures, and then from 2015, now I'm heading the organization and doing a lot of work in Sri Lanka. And to tell you that, we are the first social enterprise incubator in Sri Lanka. And currently we are the only social enterprise incubator. And we are one of the pioneers of Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka social enterprise ecosystem. And we have actually just diversified our activities into several areas, like sharing our experience with other international agencies and developing new programs and do research and consulting. And we have done a British Council social enterprise sector surveys in Sri Lanka, and policy research, advocacy, and our recent initiative that we are setting up a trading hub to support social enterprises to explore markets globally. So that's something we are doing right now. Yeah, I think that's the kind of the work we have been doing. So over the years, we have supported more than 100 social enterprises. We have conducted more than 10 incubator programs. And then we have an academy where we conduct educational programs for social entrepreneurs. So quite the varied type of work that we are doing. But we are very happy that we are collaborating with various partners, and especially now we are talking to Abhijit as well, so to how we collaborate with each other. So that's the kind of work, and I'm very happy that that I got involved in Lanka Social Ventures, and I'm really enjoying my work. And thanks to all my the team and our partners and also our donors.
Absolutely, I think that's that's inspirational also at a certain level. I think a lot of us primarily involved in social ventures have this home calling that has happened, that we've been doing some work somewhere and then it just hits us that okay, we need to go back and do something for our community. And I think that one inspiration is what I also echo with you. And obviously it's going to be great working with you folks now and understanding how can we also add value in the Sri Lankan ecosystem. Moving forward, I'd like to bring Michelle to the next question. So you are associated with the New Champions program with World Economic Forum, and when it comes to World Economic Forum, it has been instrumental in terms of shifting the needle, be it across, like globally across any domain. And very specifically, it has been towards now the Great Reset as a discussion that has come out now, and where we are trying to build practices or ideas for the new normal. Could you share a little bit about the kind of work that you're doing?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me, and congratulations to all of the entrants and all of the finalists too. It's a very exciting milestone here. I'll give a little bit of a background on the World Economic Forum. So the forum, it has been around for about a little over 50 years. We're the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation. So similar to how the Misfits believe this in the importance of stakeholder impact, that's exactly what we feel too. So there needs to be multi-stakeholder collaboration, and there needs to be people from the public sector, so government, policymakers, the private sector, business leaders, civil society, and academia, in order to tackle some of the world's largest problems. So we have many different communities of impact and action. I work closely with New Champions, which is mid to large size organizations who are really on the ground implementing some of the best practices and the impact toolkits that we create. But I also work with the Global Innovators, which is a community of global startups. And what we do is we bring these companies that have a social element. So they're using technology, very disruptive technology, but they're also using it for the betterment of the world. And we bring them into these big discussions so that they can bring this new viewpoint and this disruptive voice. So I'll give one concrete example. We have an advanced manufacturing platform that focuses on what the future of advanced manufacturing and production looks like. And they created this year, part of the focus on the Great Reset, a project that's around global value chains. And we saw this year how, our supply chains, in many cases, we saw how they struggle to be resilient. And so this was a refocus to bring together policymakers, government, public sector, so big business leaders from the big titans of the industry, the Schneider Electric, Siemens. But then we also brought in startups like Tulip Interface as an example, who is an IoT advanced manufacturing company. And they all came together to share and connect and give best practices on what it looks like to create and reconfigure value chains that are more inclusive and more sustainable. So yeah, lots of work to do, but absolutely happy to be here and looking forward to further discussions.
Pleasure to hear from you, Michelle. And I think I was just, I think 2 days back, I was part of that advanced manufacturing meet that happened. And I hear that there's a lot of movement that's going on. And we also discussed about the micro manufacturing and SME and the distributed manufacturing models that have now especially come up during the COVID times. So people like maker ecosystems actually building items at scale and then distributing it, like right from face shields and things like that. I think that's definitely a lot of new models in pretty much every sector are going to emerge in the next few years, is what I feel.
Absolutely.
Moving forward to our next panelist. So Reena, we have you here, who represents the investor VC role or the community. And I think the first question that everyone asks is, can I get funding? Can I get the money? And I'm sure that you also get that question a lot. Like that's always been a pain point for any kind of entrepreneur, and especially for social entrepreneurs, where they are juggling between impact and like profit and purpose, if I may say it that way. What are your thoughts, or maybe if you could share a little bit about the way that you've been investing, or how's the culture around VC and angel investing coming across?
Hi, hello everyone. Good evening. It's about 7 p.m. here in Singapore, and thank you for the opportunity to actually, share this stage with the fellow panelists. I am, still at the very infancy stage in my social impact work, but that is something that I've always wanted to do. It is very close to my heart because I started as an entrepreneur. If you ask me what I do right now, I think I'm still an entrepreneur by heart. Some of the companies that I invested in, they have gone public listing. So I have I'm blessed to be able to reinvest in somebody's ideas right now. So I wear two hats as an angel investor. And also, I'm also the co-founder and managing partner of a VC fund out of Malaysia. So, social impact companies has always been something that I personally would like to look at. But I'm also realistic that sometimes, if you want to do good, you need to have resources. And fortunately or unfortunately, one of the resources is money. So for me personally, I started my entrepreneurial journey at the age of 8. I have been a recipient of some very good philanthropy, charity, and I told myself that I want to pay it forward. So you asked me, is as an angel investors, if you are going to raise money from me, I think it is important to have a fit. If you know that I am passionate about social impact, or I'm passionate about certain industry, then you have a better chance to raise money from me. So I absolutely love education, because if without education, my life would be different. So, I was receiving scholarships and all sorts of kindness when I grew up, because we came from a below average family. So it is in me that I would love to invest in anything and everything about education, because I think that's the most logical way to and help, the marginalized community. So if you come to me and you are going to raise money, for your social impact at the Angels round, definitely you will have a chance to talk to me. That's because if you look at my other portfolios, currently I have 17 active portfolios under my own investment holding company. More than 50% of them are education, or they have a flavor of social impact. Now, if you come to me as a VC, having researched what we invest in, it may not fit into our current mandate because, as you know, VC, we raise money from institutional investors, family office, and the reason why they put money with us is because we promise a return of, let's say, 20 to 22% annually. And social impact companies may not actually be giving that kind of return. But having said that, I think there are big funds and big giants that are taking, baby steps, like BGC. We have got UBS and some, that I think TPG as well. They have actually launched social impact funds. So, big corporations, family offices, they have actually taken that route. So it is possible to raise from these dedicated VC funds. So I think your question is profit or purpose. I think in any kind of business, it is the balance when you strike it. So I would love to have, to learn more from my fellow panelists about more of their work in the social impact area. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Reena. And I think you mentioned a very important point there, like as investors or VCs, people expect a return. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs in general forget, that they feel that, okay, VC money is free money, you get it, you give a part of your company, and then, okay, I'm free to burn it. But more often than not, it's after you raise that money is when you understand that, okay, you have to return it, and you have to return it with some sorts of increase on that. So I think that's a very key point, and it's good to be reminded of that often, and especially with social entrepreneurs. And I think we have some amazing folks with us, and we'd be happy to recommend some of them to you, maybe if they fit into your expectations, and see if they get funded through you. So thank you very much for sharing that. Moving towards Arushi. So we have Arushi representing us from GIZ, and we had actually Shankar who was coming in, but sadly he couldn't make it today. And thank you. I'm thankful to Arushi for stepping in at the last moment and taking our request. So we've heard now from someone building incubator, someone in the enablement space, and from an investor, and obviously we had Radha ma'am initially who spoke from the government side of things. Then that's while these ideas, entrepreneurs, enablers, they become one part of the equation, but policy making and government is holds a lot of major value on how easy do they make for entrepreneurs like us to go out there and do business. And you represent the policy maker role here. So could you maybe share a little bit about what GIZ is doing? It's been working with the government of India, with the MSME ministry, and different entrepreneurship initiatives. So if you could share a little bit on that.
Yeah, first of all, a very good evening to all of you. It's a privilege to be here, and thanks to Abhijit and Team Brooks for having me over here. And congratulations for the wonderful job you guys have done. So just to move on to the question, I would first give you a small brief about the whole organization. As GIZ, we work globally. We implement several sustainable development projects and we are being headed by the German government. And our aim is to, first of all, foster sustainable development goals and the projects work in accordance with them. The current MSME innovation project in India, which we are right now heading with the Ministry of MSME and several other stakeholders, as well as the Ministry of HRD also, take care of several issues which are catered to develop the startup ecosystem in India, especially. This project basically was designed keeping in mind to boost the startup ecosystem, since India has, in the past couple of decades, have been one of the hubs for startups. So this project has been helpful to in accelerating and capacitating those entrepreneurs and startups which are in India. Recent initiatives which I would like to mention about GIZ is that we've been promoting industry academia projects in several states, like in Maharashtra. We have collaborated with Tata CSR institutes, and we have implemented several projects with them. At present, GIZ has implemented more than 200 live projects in Maharashtra region alone, and this is in accordance with keeping in mind other industry academia requirements in the region. So time and again, we have been trying to support the entrepreneurs. We also support the business incubators based in India, since we help them capacitate so that they can help these startups and young entrepreneurs to reach their business level goals. And our main aim has been also to support the women entrepreneurs in India, since women have been of these past years have been quite kind of a trailblazer, I would say, for boosting the startup ecosystem in India. So all these while GIZ has been aiming that the young entrepreneurs and startups get those kind of capacity building and help, which can boost the startup ecosystem in India. So that's it, what we've been trying to do. And just to end it, like the recent COVID project, which we have initiated with the Indian ministry, is to help those startups in India which are trying to bring in sudden measures which can help reduce the impact of COVID. So at policy level also, we've been trying to draft measures and give recommendations to the ministry which support these young entrepreneurs. And at the implementation also, we've been trying to help such incubators and other stakeholders of the country.
Thank you very
That's
much
it.
for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think my association or interaction with GIZ has been now about 2 to 3 years old, and I've been seeing the phenomenal work that you guys have been doing in India, and especially I've been part of the MSME Inno project, and I'm like obviously thankful for you guys to support us in taking this initiative to the next level. So that's one, and rightly, as you said, that now with women entrepreneurs taking the stage, and I think the first panel discussion that we had, I personally was not feeling very good because it was a completely an all male panel that we had, but then today it's like it's a switch. So I'm happy to see that we've been able to bring some amazing women leaders in our panel here today. So I think for everyone out there now, I think because we've heard from like our panelists on the kind of work that they do, so you have an understanding of how to engage with them, how to work with them, what do they offer, and what is the best way that they can support you. I'd like to move on, getting deeper into the topic of discussion today. So, Reena, we discussed during our preliminary call that you've been like, obviously you shared that you worn multiple hats, like being an entrepreneur, investor, like angel investor, VC, and also an enabler. You work with the different forums and enable, I think, also policy making in certain ways. During the discussion, we had like this very, very interesting point that most social impact entrepreneurs have, like even the ones that we've seen that have come in the Misfits initiative, are college students or started as college students and then went on to taking it as a full-time venture. And even after a certain point in time, like you try and keep uh, doing that good work or trying to create that impact, but you still end up failing because you're not able to sustain. I think that was one point of discussion. And if you could take that further and share with us, like how can we mitigate those challenges?
Well, I think those social impact startup founders that I've seen, most of them are, like you said, college students or university students, because I think youth, especially the millennials or the zillennials right now, they are exposed to everything. Through social media, they're aware of so many things that's happening around in the world, and they could imagine if they don't do something, what will be the world that they are going to live in the next 50 years. But we also have people who are in India, that actually leaves their professional career, or people who have done it but they want to switch to actually doing something good, like probably Dr. Ladit, who actually went to head a social impact incubator. But what I'm seeing is that most of the youth that actually was so excited and they were full of energy, they started the social impact organization during the university days. But when they enter the workforce, when reality kicks in, when they have other priorities in life, the enthusiasm, the passion, and the greed actually naturally sort of spiral down the drain. But what I've observed is that those who actually move on to basically scale are the ones that has the right mix of team members. In the past, we were very excited to invest in a new startup, whether it's social impact or a normal startup with a bunch of 20 years old college students full of energy, but they don't have the balance of the wiser way of looking at things. So right now, if I were to invest in a social impact company, I would look for diversity. I would look for if they have a group of advisors or mentors that could guide them through this difficult journey. So one of the social impact organization that I really admire is out of Singapore. It is by a group of students, and these two group of students are very brilliant students. They are our president scholars, and they have created this organization called Advisory. And Advisory aims to actually tackle the challenges of students when they finish university and they transit to working life, issues about or challenges when they want to choose their career path. So Advisory has been a very successful social impact startup. And one of the reasons why I think they are successful is because they know how to actually leverage on their advisors network, guidance, and they keep on building the next level. Because, you build something, and just in case you're not the one to take it to the next level, you must make sure that you have your right hand and the left hand to take it to the next stage. So even in the new in a normal startup, the founders may not be the founder forever, because I think one of the things that founders need to know is that you may be the one starting, but you may not be the one taking this company from, you probably have taken the company from point A to point B, but point C, point D onwards, it may not be you. So sometimes companies fail, whether they are social impact companies or they are normal companies, is because the founders team are the bottlenecks. So these are my personal observation, and why some of the social impact companies are not able to scale, or they sort of die of natural death.
Great points out there, Reena. I think one for everyone who's watching this, obviously, and if you're an early stage entrepreneur, be it social impact or otherwise, I think what Reena has shared is very important. That I think bringing that, if I may use the word, the gray hairs to your startup or your enterprise really helps, because it gives you perspective, which as startup founders, when you're right out of college, you lack. And I think that's been true also for me when I started out my first startup, that was back in college, and then versus now, I see the mistakes that I did, and I feel so dumb at times that, okay, why did I even do that? And I think a lot of my friends who've been now that like the pre-college and now maybe a decade later feel pretty much the same, that these several of these mistakes that we shouldn't have committed. And we seriously value the advisors or the mentors that we bring on table. Obviously, just this morning, I was discussing with a few folks on Twitter that the value of advisors on your board, how important it is. And I think there's a lot of commotion around that. Should you have, like, I think it's important than just having some faces on your deck versus actually getting that advice from someone. And for everyone, like, I'd also like to share that through the Misfits initiative, also what we're trying to do now is create a mentoring program, and that's happening through the Global Shapers community, PIC Banasthali and Triple IT Hyderabad, and enabling all our early stage social entrepreneurs to get that kind of support early on so that they can scale successfully. That brings me to Michelle here. That so you I see that you the WEF has recently concluded the Pioneers of Change Summit, and you've been working with social entrepreneurs. You have a wonderful community called the Global Shapers that's out there, and I'm privileged to be a part of that as well. Where do you see social entrepreneurs coming and engaging with these different elements that WEF has?
Yeah, it's a great question. So to speak to a little bit about the Pioneers of Change Summit last week, we really wanted to celebrate a lot of the innovations and solutions that have been coming, that are in our communities within the forum, and start to have some discussions around what's needed to support these innovations moving forward. And I would say the biggest takeaways that came out of that is that there's, of course, been a tremendous amount of challenges coming out of this year, but also a tremendous amount of opportunities. And Julie Sweet, the CEO of Accenture, shared some statistics. They did a survey of global Fortune 500 companies and beyond, and they found that this year, incoming, so 2021, over 80% of companies have set aside major budget for digital transformation efforts. And they also said that 62% of businesses says that they're committed to more responsible business practices, like supporting the SDGs, doing, stakeholder capitalism, doing it for the benefit of all. So there's been some major transformations from a global perspective, but also in specific industries. And I think that's what we wanted to celebrate. And so as far as some concrete ways that I think, any entrepreneur can get involved with the forum, there's kind of two main buckets that I would recommend. So one would be honing in on your systems leadership. So this thinking about what's going on geopolitically, what's going on in the world, what's going on with trends in business, and how can you do a mapping of this system and understand where your solution, where your business, where your community fits into that. So who are the key players that you need to build partnerships with? What type of partnerships do those need to look like? We at the forum have plenty of agenda pieces and blogs and of course summits that can be attended. So there's that, but there's also a ton out there. But I would say focusing on the bigger picture in the world and how you fit into that system is going to be key to driving impactful change. And then the second part is, to your point, Abhijit, engaging in communities where you can start to build connections with people and really build that mass and that scale that's needed to create impact. So the Global Shapers is a great example of that. There's, I think, nearly 10,000 active Global Shapers. They're in over 440 hubs around the world. And then something almost even more powerful, there's 4,000 alumni. So you are entering this major global community. And in your specific hub, you're focused on creating impact in leading projects and driving those projects. But you're also able to connect with a hub across the globe and share best practices with them. And I think that's where that power is, right? Because you start to see, once we connect and share best practices, you accelerate things much faster. So I'd say the systems leadership thinking, and then engaging in a community, ideally a global community like the Global Shapers, are two very tangible ways that we can accelerate change in 2021 and beyond.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Michelle. And I think here's a call to action for all of you. Like, if you find that there's a Global Shapers community near you, definitely do connect with them. If you can join them as a shaper, nothing like it. If you can connect with them and probably do some projects, I think that's best. Obviously, like through the World Economic Forum and the Strategic IQ also that's out there, I think the entire ecosystem of WEF provides you with a lot of, one is thought leadership, and the second is the intellectual capital that is, it's a curated intellectual capital, if I must say, which brings together people from diverse groups and puts them together on one stage or one community where you're able to leverage and interact with them. And I think it's great to have Michelle share about the kind of initiatives that are happening. And even with like the Pioneers of Change Summit, it was a phenomenal discussion that happened. And there's a great reset series that's happening. I think personally, I've also gained a lot. And even like this Misfits initiative, I think without Global Shapers community out there, I think we would have definitely not gotten the kind of impact or the reach that we're supposed to. Several hubs were really instrumental in like obviously as partners coming together, bringing that outreach, bringing more social entrepreneurs and building this community together with us. And I think that's been a huge value add in this entire initiative. And I look forward to engaging even further with more communities out there. Coming to the next topic, like while we're, I think the discussions happening more on the value addition of like the challenges and mentorship at certain level. Lalit, I have a question for you. Very specifically, you've been running the Lanka Social Ventures, you interact with social entrepreneurs day in, day out. What are those few challenges that you see people facing these days? And what are some of those practical approaches that you guide them towards?
Yeah, Abhijit, I think what I heard from the previous the speaker, our fellow panelists, was that the challenges and what social entrepreneurs are facing, even the startup entrepreneurs. I think one of the things that has been spoken about widely is the capital. Wherever you go, you hear that capital is the main problem, financing. But I think having spent about 20-25 years in this social enterprise, the SMEs and social enterprise space, what I see is that in terms of challenges, I think the finance is not a problem. There are awful lot of the money around for entrepreneurs, SMEs, anyone. But the main issue is how do social entrepreneurs access them? So the access to finance is one of the key issues that we have seen. And when I did the first research back in 2014 with Oxfam and the Singaporean-based company, uh, what came at the top of the list was the finance. And then in 2018, we did our annual social enterprise survey with British Council and UNESCAP. And again, finance came again at the top of the list of challenges. So where do we have the problem? I think the main problem is, I think there's a huge mismatch between the capital, the financial suppliers, and also the SME. So how do we match the expectations of the both? So this is something I think we have failed to address. Uh, and then about Sri Lanka, I think one of the biggest challenges is that the financial sector has not changed enough to support the new breed of social entrepreneurs and also the startup. So the banks are still following the very traditional, the old-fashioned, the methods, very the kind of collateral-based lending. So the banks have failed to move on from this collateral-based funding to more kind of a business viability-based funding. Look at the business, look at the viability of the business, profitability, and then invest. So we are still in Sri Lanka. We find 90% of the lenders are still relying on the assets and then the guarantors. So very old-fashioned type of the lending. We have been pushing for impact investment, then venture capital. I think Sri Lanka is one of the weakest countries in the region in terms of venture capital. We don't have the venture capital firm. I have not come across any venture capital firm that gives money for entrepreneurs, with ₹500,000, ₹1,000,000, ₹2,000,000. No one. So everybody is expecting $1,000,000 the venture capital opportunity. So that's where the social entrepreneurs are operating. So we have a huge problem, and even we are working with global steering group for impact investment and trying to develop this impact investments, impact investing space. And fortunately, in Sri Lanka, some social entrepreneurs got together and they have formed this impact investment network, where they run a TV show as well, like Dragon Dance type of one. So we need to have more of these new initiatives, and even there are a couple of the multinational or international impact investors operating in Sri Lanka, but they are also looking for the 1 million and above type of investment. I mean, how can social entrepreneurs, writing a proposal for $1 million? I mean, then I think you're talking about the the million type of social entrepreneurs. So I think this is where the problem is. There is a huge mismatch between the expectations. So we need to find out how to bring these two together. See, other things, of course, it's not very big issues like advisory, mentoring, coaching. They can access. Those services are available. And the third point I want to raise is that the marketing again. So how do we create a kind of a social consumerism? How do we encourage our the consumers or the buyers to buy from social entrepreneurs? So this is something that we are working on right now with Social Enterprise UK and the British Council. So how to bring in this buy social kind of concept, ethical buying, how to develop the ethical consumers. So how do we get the markets to favor the social entrepreneurs and the products of the social enterprise? How can the consumers create an impact by buying these products or the services from social enterprises? I think this is something that we need to do collectively. Lanka Social Ventures is one organization, but I think we need to get together, make a big voice to create these the market opportunities and the financial opportunities for social entrepreneurs. I think Abhijit, what you are doing is fantastic, because you are taking these taking entrepreneurs for move one step forward, taking them closer to financing. So I think these kind of initiatives, I think we need to develop some very innovative approaches for social entrepreneurs to access finance, access to market, access to services, And I think other problems are, I think probably can be solved, by the entrepreneur themselves. But I think those are the biggest challenges what I see. I think uh, we'll be talking about this at least for next 2 3 years in the Sri Lankan context. But I think we need to find a solution for this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think one is finance is what I think that's the top priority for everyone these days. But in certain ways, like I have, while you say that, I was also thinking that, quite frankly, with Radha Madam, we actually drove a major initiative for capital financial linkage for SMEs last year sometime. And uh, like it was within a span of 4 months, we were able to deploy close to 80 million in debt capital to SMEs through the public sector lending. And that was like a phenomenal exercise where I was glad to be in the center of the entire action and enable that. So I think in certain ways, while I understand that in certain regions there might be a gap in terms of funding, but I think if you look at from a global perspective or even a national perspective, I think there are multiple agencies or multiple groups that are available for like to provide that finance or access to finance to entrepreneurs out there. I think what Rina also discussed like during her talk was that I think as entrepreneurs we fail to in certain ways address the sustainability aspect of our ventures. And I think that's where the key challenge comes, that if you are not sustainable, why would someone come and invest into you? I think that's something that as entrepreneurs also we need to be very mindful about, that we need to have a good and sustainable business model, because anyone who's putting money into us wants that back in certain form or way. And just trying to link that back, and while yes, there are systematic changes and a lot of troubles that come into the journey of an entrepreneur, that brings me to Arushi here, because she's been working in the public sector. She's been like playing the role of a policy maker now. So like entrepreneurs day in day out have to face these systematic challenges. So what Lalit actually, like I think he put it very that there is financial problems or there are systematic issues. How do I get, like either I'm fighting with the local district administration or I'm fighting with the policymakers out there. What are those ways where, let's say, I as a grassroots entrepreneur have a suggestion that would help improve the value chain? How should I come and share those concerns?
Yes, I definitely feel that there are a lot of issues which the social entrepreneurs have been facing, and coming on to like the Indian environment, I would say that social entrepreneurs have played an important role in filling up the lacunas which the government at times have failed to bring in social impact at a grassroots level or at a community level. So, in order to have some kind of changes, as a suggestion, would have couple of things, especially like being from a policy side. Since we know that it's not easy to bring in a lot of legislative changes, and the best way possible usually comes out when I'll start with an example, like the social entrepreneurs, for example, in India, they have to get registered with the central government if they are, for example, handling a cluster of villages and doing some impactful exercise over there. And they have to have some clearances and checks and balances. But these processes, and even as Mr. Lalit had pointed, they take a lot of time, and this has been creating a lot of hindrance, and on and off. It has reduced it has actually increased the hindrance level. So I would suggest that at times the government can work on creating a certain kind of a mega level authority, which can be basically helpful to monitor, control, or bring redressal to such entrepreneurs, and they can just directly come on to registering at that authority, and and that authority can open up into state and municipal level district centers to bring a kind of a top-down approach. But since we know that this kind of things are they take a lot of time, and legislations and amendments in a law, they take a lot of time. What an easy solution is also there, which I can suggest of, is that a lot of third-party organizations, for example, like Greenpeace at international level, at Indian level, I would say FICCI is doing a great job. These are bringing in industry associations, and also a lot of organizations like Center for Civil Society. They are working as third-party organization and trying to act as mediators between the government and the community level. So I would say even engaging with such kind of organizations can be a better down approach for bringing easy redressal to your current issue, because these organizations also work at a government level and they provide policy inputs and can be a voice of such entrepreneurs, because FICCI is, as I just mentioned, has been doing a marvelous job. They have a lot of engagement with stakeholders of the country and have been engaging with several social entrepreneurs, and a lot of young professionals are attached with them. So this is somewhat an easy approach, which I would say that can bring a quick redressal to the issue of social entrepreneurs, and till the time we come on to the national change, which I just suggested. So that's what I want to say on this.
Yeah, those are some great points out there, and I think we like it. There are like obviously as entrepreneurs we need to get access to these different organizations and these different systems to be able to actually voice these concerns. I think one of the key things that I also learned during my exercise while doing this entire initiative, or during some of our previous initiatives, that if we bring together stakeholders from every system, and this also reminds me of one of these workshops that we engaged with Radha ma'am as part of our Swachh Bharat mission, wherein we had right from like someone at her level who's a joint secretary, to the State Department, and to SHGs who are working on the ground, and brought them on a single table and actually got them to talk with each other. I think those insights, when like the top official hears from the ground, or these kind of enablement exercises really take it to the next level, where you're able to really bridge that entire gap and increase a smoother transition for everyone, and obviously impacting the entire ecosystem at large. So I think in the interest of time, I'd like to just bring it to a closure, and like have all of you share some closing thoughts. I think we had a very wonderful discussion, and if you could share a few thoughts over the discussion today, and then we'll close it. So who'd like to go first? Michelle?
Sure, happy to. I guess I'll just, I mean, I think that what everyone was saying was really resonating with me, and it's fascinating to hear too, just each of you speak about the subtleties and the specifics that you're seeing, you know, Lithium in Sri Lanka, and the differences in the ecosystems, and what's, you know, the challenges that you're seeing there. You know, I think it's fascinating, but I just think that as a final thought, you know, these are challenges that are present everywhere in the globe. And so I just encourage that we all continue to connect with one another and really try to join those communities, be open with other, make connections where you can, be open with other people, because we have a lot to learn from one another. And I think that is exactly what we need now in this time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reena, would you like to go next?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me, and it's great to learn from my fellow panelists, about their work as well. And I echo what Michelle said. I think collaboration is the way to go. We're not going to do or achieve anything if we work as an individual solo, especially if you want to solve some of the world's biggest problem. But coming from a investment point of view, whether you are a social entrepreneur or you are a normal entrepreneur, promising to give big returns to your investors, as a social entrepreneur, because everybody wants to save the world, if you are going to create something that will solve the perhaps clean water challenges that we faced, why would the investor or the funder give it to you? You have to find your story sexy enough to say that you are going to do it much better than the other thousands of social entrepreneurs, because people have only $1. So, reality is that we can't invest in everybody. But even as a social entrepreneur, what I felt was, maybe sometimes is not right to say that because I'm a social entrepreneur, therefore you have to invest in me. Some of them are saying that because I gave up my life, I'm doing good. But we have to be realistic. Maybe the way you're doing good is not good enough. There are somebody else who have done it in a better way, faster, more impact. That's why they get the funding. So whether you're a social entrepreneur or you are a normal entrepreneur, being able to really articulate what you're trying to do and tell a story that whoever that you're going to get funding from, whether they are philanthropists, they are big agencies, the story have to resonate with their mandate. So I guess it is important to continue to learn. If you are raising fund, do look at how the others that have successfully raised. I, as an investor, I always look at a few things: whether these person have greed, whether this team is agile enough to actually bring that idea, forward. So that's all for me. Hopefully, it's useful.
Thank you very much. No, your thoughts were, I think, it really gave us a lot perspective into how to actually go out there and get get the investor to write us a check. I think that's important. Arushi, any closing thoughts from your side?
First of all, thanks, Abhijit. The session was very fruitful. And for me, I had a lot of quite a good amount of knowledge from different panelists. They have been providing me a lot of informative things, which I quite, was never kind of heard of. So like Mr. Lalit gave a quite good insights from the Sri Lankan point of view. So it was quite a good informative session. And just agreeing with all the other panelists, Michelle, Veena, I would definitely say that yes, a lot of networking and engagement would be helpful for us to bridge in the gaps which are existing in the society. So yes, we should go for it and we should be there to help each other out. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And closing it with Lalit.
Let me first thank Abhijit for inviting me to take part in this fabulous the panel discussion, and thank you to all the fellow the panelists. Really valuable, the insight that you shared with us today. But lastly, actually, I really want to emphasize that this collaboration is something that we are really look forward to because I think we should share our learnings, share our experience, and I don't think that we all have time to reinvent the wheel because somebody has already done it. So let's the work together and collaborate and see what you are doing and what we are doing and what everybody else is doing, and learning from our experience. And also, something I like to also emphasize is that I think this B2B relationship, B2B collaboration is something that we really have to work on. Say maybe we all are supporting social entrepreneurs. How we can connect the social entrepreneurs in different geographies, different locations. How can we collaborate Indian social entrepreneurs with Sri Lankan social entrepreneurs, where they can do business, investment, even go for partnerships. And I think that makes even our the ecosystem players like us our life easy, because then if they have more interaction, more B2B relationship, I think that that makes them to go for investment or markets and share resources, raw materials. I think there are lots of things that we can do in that space. So that's something I would like, if we all can get together and think about those lines. How do we uh, make the connection between the social entrepreneurs? So that's my last the comment, and also something I like to share with. So thank you very much, and
Thank
all
you.
the
Thank you
best
very
to all
much
the
for your
panelists.
thoughts, Lalit. I think a common thread that I can draw from what each one of you has said is I think we need to come together and work and create that, enable that networking and platform for all the social entrepreneurs out there. And I think with something that we've been able to, in whatever little manner, through this initiative that we've been able to start. I'm expecting all of you to even further support us in terms of taking this to the next level and see how well can we support our social entrepreneurs out there. And obviously across geographies, I think we have Michelle, who's joining in from the European part of the world. We have Rina, who's is in Malaysia, Lalit here in Sri Lanka, Arushi here from India. So I think we already have that ecosystem that is here together in the panel itself, and thankfully all the partners that we have engaged in. With that, I would like to close and thank all of you for your time. I will request you guys to please stay around, and over the next few minutes, we'll also be announcing our top three misfits from this entire initiative, and we'll quickly go through the top 30 that have made it in the current level. So requesting Rahul Anupam to take it over. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. Lalit, Ms. Reena, Ms. Michelle, and Ms. Arushi for joining in and sharing your thoughts on scaling social impact. So now moving further, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the doers, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who sees things differently. They are not fond of rules, but challenges. I would like to invite Prasanjeet and Suraj to introduce all our top 30 misfits. Beginning with Mr. Suraj, go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Anupam. What a great panel discussion. We had this wonderful panelists joining from different parts of the globe and giving their perspective on entrepreneurship. It is always a pleasure to be a part of such panel discussion. I'm sure everyone who had joined, all the startup founders, had something to learn from the discussion. Now I would like to introduce you and present you the top 30 Misfits regional winners and finalists. By the way, I'm equally excited to know the results like all of you, the top three Misfits winner. There are more than 30 ideas which were really creating impact and had an amazing model, but then we had to choose the top 30. So here they are. The first one, Tisser. Dr. Megha Fansalkar runs Tisser Handicraft, which aims to weave an exclusive rural boutique using traditional techniques, skills, and hand-based process found throughout rural India. Meet them at Misfits Grand Finale. Green Techies Recyclers Private Limited. Sharma Ravi Kumar runs Green Techies with a startup mission creating green building material from waste plastic by empowering rack pickers to create sustainable infrastructures. Vasi. Naren Ajit Srinivasan runs Vasi, a long-term monitoring of native fish species using catch and release sport angling as a citizen science tool. Earth Focus. Arun Subramaniam runs Earth Focus, where they designed the water saver that saves more than 95% of water without compromising washing experience. Saral Kheti. Sanchit Agrawal runs Saral Kheti, which is a subscription-based farm to fork with crop planning, demand estimation, and traceability. Sushakti. Videsh Singh runs Sushakti, an edtech platform which builds coordination between education system and child's immediate surrounding to empower the ecosystem for a child's holistic growth. Next Skills 360. Suraj Mayur runs Next Skill 360. It is estimated that over 87% of the school in India do not have computers. Their product teaches students how to code without computers. Ayushman Bhava. Varun Chinta runs Ayushman Bhava, bringing reformative changes to the current emergency vehicle transit. Khadi Tea. Medha Khandelwal runs Khadi Tea, which provides an innovative form of knitted fabrics out of ancient textile art techniques that is sustainable, affordable, stylish clothing to bring social equality via hand processed techniques. Rivayat. Rohan Kohli runs Rivayat. Rivayat is a venture into premium terracotta pottery, creating direct market linkages for the potters and connecting them with designers to provide modern products suited for the niche market. Mitti Cafe. Alina Alam runs Mitti Cafe, a non-profit organization which runs a chain of inclusive cafes that are completely managed by adults with physical, intellectual, and psychiatric disabilities. iSTEM. Shakul runs Inclusive STEM with a motto of empowering the youth with disabilities using artificial intelligence. Bastar Se Bazaar. Satyendra Singh Lihare runs Bastar Se Bazaar to reduce post-harvest losses, build natural forest products, and create flexible and supportive local 100 days employment program through collective action in North Bastar, Chhattisgarh state. AgriDost. Dipender Solanki runs AgriDost. It is a physical platform to provide customized uh, digital platform to provide customized input and output services to farmers, creating a network of AgriDost point to solve the problem of localized and personalized advisory services and solution for farmers to increase their income. Ameya Life School Health. Dr. Prasad NSD runs Ameya Life preventing non-communicable diseases by doing comprehensive school health. I would like to invite Prasenjit to take this ahead.
Thank you, Suraj. Specable, Pratik Rathi runs Specable, which aims at bringing learning disability children on par with the normal children using assistive technology. Udan Rozgar, Sarthak Saxena runs Udan Rozgar, which acts as a mediator between service providers and local people. Robo Bionics, Lilwin D'Souza, he runs Bionic Hope that gives a hand to people who have lost their own. Educase, Vedika Muraka runs Educase, which is a portable foldable desk that is also used as a backpack to use at school and at home. Pacify Medical, Sai Prasad Payorkar runs Pacify Medical that saves patient life by spraying skin to recover faster. Arogya, Anirudh Arya runs Arogya that provides awareness, affordability, and availability of sanitary napkins among the underprivileged. Drona Automation. Suraj N runs Drona Automation, whose product is a sewage pipe tinning robot. Biofuel. Kishan Karunakaran runs Biofuel, India's first online marketplace for biofuels and organic wastes. 60 Plus India. Arasi Arul runs 60 Plus India, the urban lab style geriatric healthcare and allied products or services aimed at the fast growing 103 million senior citizen population of India. Magic Bit. Megara Amithodhan runs Magic Bit, a small computer which supports learning innovation with electronics, robotics, IoT, and computer programming with a simplified learning method at affordable cost. Scrapiro, Tommy Hateno runs Scrapiro, which introduces recycling as a service or RAS to allow quick integration for businesses to get value of their waste and increase the ROI through waste efficiency. Vigya, Gaurav runs Vigya, an anonymous place for everyone to come together and share, and this is backed by natural language processing module. Jarod Bust, Rakesh runs Jarod Bust, a one-man machine, and removes drudgery, shame, and the threat from the task. Virasat, Aman Akash runs Project Virasat, an umbrella organization under which it aims to revive various declining craft forms of India, beginning with that of the Thateras of Jandiala Guru. Moms, Nepal. Amuda Mishra runs Moms, an initiative to empower mothers who cook in our neighborhood by connecting them with a wider audience through a smartphone. So over to you, Anupam.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Prasanjit and Mr. Suraj. So, team, these were top 30 misfits for you, hustling and proving themselves in every aspect to reach and achieve success. So, now moving on to the announcement of our top three misfits who have the ability to make it down to the bottom of the ocean and the ability to swim the dark waters without any fear. I would like to invite Ms. Pratibha, an entrepreneur and having a career journey of 18 years. She has a varied body of work. This includes radio jockeying, and she has hosted a very popular film-based radio talk show. She also launched a film magazine called South Movie Scenes and co-founded an app called India TV Guide. She went on to head the operations at Microsoft Ventures in India for next 3 years. She is the recipient of the British Council's Young Creative Entrepreneur and have represented the country at the International Young Creative Entrepreneurs Program. I would like to invite Ms. Pratibha to announce our top three winners. Over to you, Ms. Pratibha.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anupam. And it was great to be part of Misfits' journey and to see the kind of activities that you guys have created. And kudos to the entire team for actually putting this together and highlighting certain causes, which I know is at the heart of solving any problem for any country for that matter. Okay. So what I'll do is first is congratulations to the top 30 and congratulations to all the misfits that have actually presented and are part of this community. So is there a drum roll or should I just go ahead and announce all the top three? Okay. Let's just move to the top three misfits. There are two categories. One is the top three misfits, which was chosen by the jury. And then there is also a team choice. I'll go with the first top three. Congratulations, Scrapiro. They introduced recycling as a service to allow quick integration for business to get value of their waste and increase ROI. Drona, eradicating manual scavenging of manholes. And Bastar Se Bazaar Tak, helping reduce post-harvest losses and build natural resource forest products through collective action in North Bastar. So congratulations to the top three misfits here. Okay. And I'm sure the team will reach out to you for the next steps. And now moving on to the team choice. Okay. Do you want to put up the slide, Anupam? Okay. Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. So the team choice. Earth Focus, it manufactures, water savers that can be attached to existing taps. Vigya, a social platform for anyone can share anything that is weighing on their heart, which actually is very, very required. There are times having this kind of anonymity does help. And then there is Revayat. It's a venture by students of Sri Ram College of Commerce and to revive and sustain the age-old art form of terracotta pottery and empowering artisans and creating direct market linkages with the with customers. So yeah, with professional designers. So yeah, this is the team choice. So congratulations to the team choice also. Um, great going, great going, Abhijit and team. Great going that these are the people that have come up as part of the top 3 misfits and team choice. And yeah, I mean, continue the good work that you guys are doing and help many more entrepreneurs is my request to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pratibha. This was phenomenal. This is Rahul Pari from Associate Director of Brooks Ecosystem Foundation and leading the initiative of Misfit. First of all, congratulations to all the winners and the team choices. You all definitely deserve it. Frankly speaking, I have been there for Misfit since the beginning, and it was quite difficult for us to choose the best 3 out of the best 30. This was the most difficult job for me.
No, I think you guys have, I mean, it doesn't take away the focus from anybody else that presented, but the fact that, these are the top 3 choices and there was jury involved and there were people, I'm sure it must have been quite difficult, but kudos to you guys for pulling this off.
Right, Pratibha. I mean, if you see the top score of the top 3 just had a difference of 0.5 marks with each other.
Yes, yes. It was neck to neck. I mean, I was a jury at one of the pitching session, and I could see the kind of quality of people that were pitching there. So yeah, a great effort.
Thank you. So I would now like to call Mr. Suraj, who is the co-founder of Drona Automation, to speak on his experience, his exposure, and his plan next.
Sure.
Yes, Suraj.
Hi guys, I'm Suraj. So Misfits, right? So what happened? I'll tell you how I entered the event. So I was just browsing through one of the startup events, and just like that, one of my guy, project manager, he told, "Okay, just try this. This sounds a bit apt to you. Misfits, the name, na? It sounds a bit apt to you. You just join this." Anta he told, and from there, and what happened? I just yeah okay. Yeah, I think you can see me. So what happened? We went through many refinement process of the deck, because this is not an event which has been like a regular pitching event. So this is something where we want to present what we are doing to the entire startup community and to the entire society, and we need to place this in such a way that it's having a social impact to the society. Okay, it is having a social impact, but how to present this particular thing to the general audience? That was our one of the challenge what we faced while doing this, and pretty good. Apart from this decks and everything, pitch deck, we had very good sessions, which was very helpful for me personally, because I learned many things which was in cloud scenario for me, because I was not sure whether to go for this approach or that approach. So, but this sessions, whatever sessions was happening, right, it cleared a lot to me over the period. So I think this was a pretty good journey for me, the entire journey, whatever I went through. And I want to congratulate the team, Misfits team, the entire management team, because they handled this in a very good, organized way. So I didn't find this type of organization and precision in any other team where I worked. So I want to congratulate them.
Thank you very much, Suraj. That was quite motivating for us as well.
Okay.
Now I would like to call Arun from Earth Focus to speak on few words of his experience and what is his plan next. Yes, yes, Arun. Yes, Arun, can you?
Yep, I can hear you. Sorry, I'm a little outside. So yeah. Yes.
First of all, congratulations to you, Arun. You have
Thank
been
you.
our team choice.
Thank you so much. I was actually quite thrilled looking at that. So yeah, it's been a great journey. I mean, started to learn how to do the pitch deck and everything. So yeah, it's been great.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we move on to the next participant then?
I would like to call Mr. Rohan Kohli, who is the co-founder of Rivayat.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So I think the experience overall has been really fruitful. I mean, we've been given so many opportunities to interact with the other teams, as well as gain from experience of the founders, Abhijit particularly, and many of the sessions and all were very informative. And I think the benefits that you're given, the Paytm thing, and these are something that will benefit us. I mean, not just now, but over the continuous next 1-2 years when we are actually in the growth stage. So I think I would like to thank everyone, your team. I think it was a very well organized thing. The way you managed to bring so many great partners to actually showcase our work to the audience, not just in India but abroad as well. So I think congrats on a very successful held event.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rohan, and congratulations to everyone over here. I mean, not just the top 3, but the top 30. I mean, you guys, frankly, deserves an applause from our side. I mean, you guys did a great job and great job in bringing impact and change in the society. Great job, guys. Thank you very much for applying to Misfit. Now I would like to introduce the team, or rather I say the engine of Misfit that worked tirelessly. Yes, thank you very much, Ravi. Now I would like to introduce the team, or I rather say the engine of Misfit that worked tirelessly for around 5 months, 7 days a week to make this idea of Misfit happen. The team are all youngster, and I'm happy to say that majority of them are either fresher or a student. Kudos to the great determination and enthusiasm of my exceptional team member Preeti Rekha Jena, Shubham Jha, Anupam Pandey, Aman Singh, Neha Nanoti, Chinmaya Nayak, Vishaka Sharma, Pujita Kaitapuram, Chirag Vadar, Ravi Tiwari, Patel, Akansha Shukla, Dharangan, Sudeep Das, Vijay Lakshmi, Sarang Gadave, Ajay Ghakre, Anushri, and the core members Prasanjit Debroy, Amrita Haldipur, Surat Singh, and Abhijit. Our big assistance came from the team of entrepreneurship cell of IM Kashipur, which was led by Aniket Parekh and their team members Siddhant Patel, Sumit Sehgal, Nikhil Dikshit, and Arjun Kansal. And the thank cannot this cannot be closed without thanking to our experienced folk that constantly guided us and helped us to avoid any major glitches. Thankful to Joy Richards, Aditi Gupta, Anupriya Agrawal, Sharvari Kulkarni, Jatin Chaudhary, Kiran Reddy, Neha Jain, Pratik Sethi, Nisha Parikh, Sana Khan, Asta Dandia, Shantanu, and of course our board members Kamlesh sir, Pratibha ma'am, Rama sir, and Jairupa ma'am. Thankful for being there and motivating us constantly through your words and valuable feedback. And that marks the end of our first edition of Misfit, which was hosted by GIZ, powered by Telugu and recognized by Startup India. We are quite thankful to all our global and regional partners to trust our work and to support us throughout the journey of Misfit. Thank you very much. And also gratitude to all the attendees for joining us and sharing your precious time with us. That was Misfit for you, where we will continue to find the most impactful change makers. Goodbye and cheers. We will see you next time. Thank you very much. Yes, I would now request everyone to please start their video so that we could have a collective picture.
Okay. Hey, so are we doing the Zoom selfie now?
Yes.
So Suraj has a question. When can we see Misfits 2.0?
We next year, 2021.
I think I was expecting someone to ask this question, but no one did, so I did.
So there goes our Zoom selfie.
Sorry. Can you do it again? And
Okay.
Selfie screenshot. This?
Yes.
Winners can do this.
what this, right? Suraj.
Hey, this is also for Ruksh, okay? Not just winner.
It is also for Ruksh.
And for Misfits.
We are Ruksh.
We are Ruksh.
We are Ruksh.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you guys. It was amazing having all of you, and thank you everyone that's been involved. This is great. This was great discussion, and had a great time with all of you. Thank you everyone. Prasenjit, we can stop the live stream now.
Okay.
Thank you for being an amazing host, Prasenjit and Ravi.